Dear New York Yankees, adios, pelota, and don't you come back anymore. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Oh yeah! I'm flying solo for the first part of the show. Good morning and welcome to the, I can actually say it, the tripped out Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning. We are glad to have y'all with us. Our sponsor, Billboards, will come back next week because I'm working on a few different ads for the folks that we are signed up with. And I need to take this moment to explain to y'all why we were not here on Wednesday. See, we got trolled by LeBron. You know what? Let me do it this way. Let me do it the best way I know how. Why were we not here? And I'm starting to laugh. The crew will be here in a little while, including Allison Moran, including Chris Dietz. I told them I'd fly solo. A couple of them were having technical problems. But you know why we weren't here yesterday? Because, yes, LeBron, it is you. It has always been you. It always will be you. Forever and ever. Amen. Now for the explanation.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight, for the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronzexual Confessions.
And yes, when you hear that, you know this. So I had several conversations with Bronzexuals. And yeah, they all look like that after what happened on Tuesday. So the crew and I were busy about to wrap up the show Tuesday. Then we got an alert the day before that LeBron had a big announcement. So of course we all get glued to it and pay attention. And we all start thinking the same thing. He's finally going to leave the NBA alone. He's going to walk away and restore the NBA back to great status. Then Jen, our resident queen of Taika, had an alert come across her desk right when we were about to wrap up. And she started ducking down off the screen. And I said, "What's going on?" She says, "I saw the announcement and it was for Hennessy." We all sat here and froze. And were it not for the folks on the stations that picked us up, there would have been a few cuss fits that would have extended beyond 2 hours. Seriously. Now, to the conversation with bronsexuals, they were all laughing. And they had a reason to laugh because we got trolled. We all did. We thought salvation was coming, and it turned out to be a big fat lie. You know, Victor said it in the chat. You know, he said something to the tune of, I'll never retire. Yeah, that's exactly what the heck we're afraid of. In fact, one bronsexual in particular said to me, quote, how does it feel to know that you have been victimized by the world's biggest troll job by one of your most hated athletes? Close dumps quote. And then he backed it up, with this quote. How does it feel to know that will never go away? Close quote. You know, and I'm thinking there's nothing he can say that can just send me over the edge. He found something to send me over the edge when he said, quote, now watch all the apologizing you'll have to do if he wins the world championship this season. Close quote. Now, before I respond in kind and eliminate all the cuss words within, first this.
So I realized that I think, even though it's not advertised,
Right.
there has to be a place for stupid people. We don't know because we're not stupid, so we don't know anything about it. It's like a secret club society.
Oh my gosh.
So I come to the conclusion that he graduated from SU, stupid university. Yeah, all the stupid ass letters that go along with graduating high honors of being stupid. I can't do no more, man.
Vámonos, dominos, vámonos. Stupid university, where everyone graduates magna cum stupid.
I looked at this guy and I said, you stupid what the is wrong with you tempting the NBA to roll out the red carpet for LeBron to win another championship, which will probably, in a sense, be the same Mickey Mouse championship he won in 2020. Are you fucking nuts? And then he comes back to me and he says, well, it could happen as the time. I said, shut the up. And yes, I'm putting these beeps in for a reason. I said, you sound just like Glitch in a way, friend of mine. Oh, does he love Braun too? I said, man, he's a bigger bronsexual than you, which I didn't think was possible. But then I meet the whole lot of you, and I didn't think any of you I didn't think any of you would have any sense, and I'm being proven right. Him, of all people, the man who allegedly took PEDs, and I'm starting to believe it, win a world championship? Are you out of your fucking mind? You have less brains than Niji Sanji, Gunrun, and V Shoujo, and my old roommate at the same time. And it ain't much. Now, I better close this thing up because I got Chris Simpson on the way and I got to shift to football. But y'all are nuts, okay? LeBron ain't winning another world championship ever again. Now get out of my face, you thirsty bitches.
In a world where logic and sense flies completely out the window, while purple and yellow glasses are donned, rises a figure who encourages ridiculous, undying loyalty. Good Lord, I'm about to throw up. This has been yet another installment of The Bronsexual Confessions.
Now that I got that off my chest, let's talk football. Chris Simpson's on the way in a deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Because we take this job so serious.
What are we doing?
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Well, it's Thursday, and we're doing this one kind of early. And now, courtesy of the Hilton guest line, Chris Simpson joins us to talk a little football. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
What's going on, Brian? Good morning. As always, thanks for having me.
Oh, man, thank you for coming on. Chris Simpson joins us every Thursday morning to take a look at his specials. We like to call them Simpson's specials. And we're going to start in the NFL because we got two big ones in college football we're going to spend a little more time with. Lions and Chiefs on Sunday Night Football at 8:15. And Chris, you have been saying this for 2 years now, and this past week proved it. The Chiefs just aren't right.
No, they aren't. And they think that they can just hit that switch whenever they want, and they feel they can play their best football. And I think that's catching on, and that's catching up to them. You would have thought they learned their lesson after how embarrassed they were in the Super Bowl, courtesy at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles. But to me, the whole game changed when Mahomes threw that interception to Devin Lloyd, and he took it to the house. Their defense doesn't scare me. Chris Jones just looks like he's not trying. Something's just not right with Kansas City. I don't know if the offense misses Rashee Rice. Yeah, they got back Xavier Worthy, but I know Rashee is that he's that possession receiver. They're not running the ball. The offensive line, they've only kept Mahomes upright and on his feet one time, and that was the win against Baltimore in week 4. But other than that, the Chiefs just don't scare me. And I feel kind of hesitant saying that because the last time I said the Chiefs don't scare me, guess what they do? They repeat as Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, they got me too. But can you point to a game in the past season plus where the snowball kind of started downhill for Kansas City?
I mean, it was all last year, if we're being realistic. I mean, look, I wasn't impressed. And Brian, we talked about this. I was never impressed with their 9-0 start because they were just sliding by. They were never putting teams away left and right. Could have lost that game to Baltimore in week 1. Could have lost that game to the Bengals in week 2. So I count 2 losses right there. You can say it kind of caught up to them when they lost to Buffalo last year. Well, Buffalo always beats them in the regular season. But other than that, they just I don't get the fear from them anymore like we have in those years past. So you could say pretty much all of last season was when all of this started, except for one game. The best game they played last year was on Christmas Day against the Steelers.
And meanwhile, the Detroit Lions coming in as a team that will scare you. They are 4-1. Their offense is the best in the NFL right now, and now they go into enemy territory in Kansas City. And look, if you want to look at their record early in the year and the opponents they played, Baltimore included, they've been there and done that already.
Yeah, but it's not their fault. They play who they play, and they beat who they beat. I think that loss to Green Bay, it's almost ancient history, because after that, look at what they've done. I mean, what really impressed me was not the fact that they beat Baltimore. It was how they did it, because they ran that football, and anytime Baltimore punched them, the Lions punched back. And here's the thing. You're not going to get explosives from the Lions offense. They're an offense that wants to run the ball. To me, they still have the best offensive line in the league, and they have complimentary wide receivers. And on top of that, this is an offense that's methodical, and they know how to pick their spots. And I really like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brian, I talked to you about this over the mic, off the microphone. You know who he reminds me of a little bit?
Who's that?
Amon-Ra St. Brown reminds me a lot of Hines Ward. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Of him. The ability to go over the middle, the ability to block. I just think he's a better overall receiver than Hines was. And that's no knock on Hines Ward. And I just like what the Lions are doing right now. They're doing it on both sides of the ball. They're violently and consistently attacking the line of scrimmage.
And that has been the key. And you and I have talked about this so many times about what the Lions need to do to flip their culture around. They needed to get a running game. They have that. They needed to violently attack the line of scrimmage. And, for the past 3 years, we've seen them do that. They lead the league in scoring coming into this one on Sunday night. And yours truly will have the call Sunday on our edition of Sunday Night Football. Now we go to college football. And you want to talk about a couple of juicy ones in the Big Ten? Let's start in Eugene, Oregon. The 7th-rated Indiana Hoosiers get the test of their lives when they go to that loud house called Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, and they face the number 3 Oregon Ducks on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. You got to give Kurt Signetti a lot of credit. Yeah, he lost a couple of players from last year, but look where he has them again. Ranked in the top 10, number 7. If we're being exact. And this is going to be my first time getting the chance to see Fernando Mendoza play. It's one thing when you see highlights, but when you can actually sit down and watch these kids play, it's something special. From what I've seen, he just has such command and control of that offense. And their offense this year moves with a little more pace than what it did last year under Curtis O'Rourke. And then, on the Oregon side, I had the chance to break them down a couple weeks ago against Penn State. First time seeing Dante Moore play, and man, is this kid the real deal? A live arm, has the mobility, can extend plays, and has a pretty good weapon to get the ball to in the Corian Moore. So more and more. So this is going to be fun. Can't wait to see how Fernando handles this crowd in this Oregon defense, because they're going to throw a lot. And Dan Lanning, I think, is one of the 3 best coaches we have in the country today.
Oregon has a weapon at tight end. Sadiq is the real deal. This boy, 6'7", 260 pounds. It's all muscle. He can block. He can catch. He can run, because they've had him in on a couple of running plays. He is the X factor for me in this game on Saturday.
I agree with you, and he's actually mine as well, because he can create those mismatches. I don't think there's a linebacker or a safety that's going to be able to cover him. I would cover him almost how you cover Travis Kelce when he breaks out. The minute he breaks out of his route, you're playing single high. You have one guy on him, and then you have one guy over the top.
Kenyon Sadiq is our X factor in this game. What is your X factor for Indiana at Oregon? Number 7 and number 3 from Autzen Stadium in Eugene. But the day kicks off in part of my neck of the woods, Champaign, Illinois, as the defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes visit Luke Altmaier and the Illinois Fighting Illini, who, except for the game against Indiana, have been a very pleasant surprise in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they really have. And Luke Altmaier is one of the most proficient passers we have in the country. He's completing 73% of his passes, and he's yet to turn the ball over, Brian. That might change on Saturday. Ohio State.
It may.
Listen, Ohio State, they've been on cruise control this entire year. And we could talk about their offense all we want, but it's their defense that's really stolen the show. They've only given up 25 points total this entire season, and they haven't given up a red zone touchdown. I look at Ohio State's offense, and Jeremiah Smith, he's gonna get his. I mean, that goes without saying. But I think Carnell Tate, the Chicagoan, I think he's gonna be key in this one. He's 6'3", about 191 pounds. And they use him in so many ways on gadget plays, in the slot, wide on the perimeter, has the ability to take those short passes and push them up the field for those chunk plays. And what can Illinois do to limit him? But Illinois has their own playmaker on their side of the ball, and he goes by the name of Hank Beatty. And I am brave about this young man.
You see this smile on my face, being a fellow who's covered Illinois for some 2.5 decades. I lived in Illinois for most of my life. Man, when they get X factors like that, like Beatty, oh my goodness, has he come on lately for Illinois?
And he plays bigger than what he appears. He's a smaller receiver. I want to say 5'10", 5'11", not the biggest guy, but he's physical, has a wide catch radius, and he truly is Luke Altmaier's he truly is Luke Altmaier's security blanket. He's a safety valve. He's that guy that he knows he can turn to when he's in trouble. So this is gonna be a fun one. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it a trap game for Ohio State, but Ohio State can't overlook what's in front of them, because that's what can come back and bite you in the you know what, and it could hurt you and it could cost you a game. But all in all, I just think Ohio State across the board has way too much. They're the better defensive team, and offensively, they're going to get theirs. And it could be tough for Illinois to score on Saturday.
We'll stay here for a moment. The last time these two teams met with so much hanging in the balance was 2002. And that year, Ohio State had to win in overtime in Champaign for them to get their shot at the national championship. It could develop into that kind of game, because on 2 occasions this year, Illinois was able to force 5 turnovers from their opponent, once at Duke and now at Purdue. But you got the champs coming into your house, so you know Champaign, Illinois is going to be off the charts. Fox Big Noon Saturday is going to be there. I've been to a game at Memorial Stadium. One of my dearest friends, Brian Barnhart, voice of the Fighting Illini, he'll be on the call on the Fighting Illini Network. And I'll tell you something, when Big Noon Saturday or Game Day or whatever show makes their way to Champaign, Illinois, the whole joint shuts down, and they will be in the vicinity of Memorial Stadium on Saturday morning.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it. Should be a fun game. Actually, a pretty intriguing week of football on, you know, on both sides. You know, I want to see how the Eagles bounce back tonight. And Brian, we talked about this. I think that loss to Denver on Sunday is kind of a wake-up call for the Eagles. Look, I talk to Cole Johnson just as much as you do all the time. What's going on, Coach? And you know, Coach was saying that Philly has been toying around with their food a little too much.
Oh yeah.
And look, they could have lost to Dallas in week 1. They could have lost to. They should have lost to the Rams, if we're being honest. The Rams,
absolutely, they should have lost to both of those teams.
Yeah, they should have lost to Tampa Bay, if we're being real, because they only played one quality half of football, but it caught up to them against Denver, and I just want to see where they go from here. And the Giants, oh God, the Giants they play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. That's the only good thing I can say.
Let's take a look at one more game before we go to a break. And this is a wild card game that I selected because one of these teams is supposed to be here, the other is not. It's this one in Tampa Bay. The 49ers and the Buccaneers, they flex this game from a 1 o'clock start to 4:25. Fox will have the call, and guessing Kevin Burkhardt will have the call for this game. But the 49ers, since the offseason, have been the walking wounded, and yet here they are, along with Tampa Bay and 4 other teams, sitting at 4-1 coming into this week.
Yeah, and how did I know you were going to this game? I just
you know me entirely too well.
I know you all too well. It's that chemistry. But I look at San Francisco and what they did last week in Inglewood was special. I mean, no one gave them a chance in this game. And B, you know, I love a good music reference. It's the return of the Mac.
Yeah.
Is this?
You know,
he looks like a different guy now. I mean, he looks more comfortable. He looks happy. And, you know, we knew he was a good quarterback. It just all depends on coaching. And I know I've given Kyle Shanahan a lot of flack over the years, but what he's doing right now so far has been superb. You're without your starting quarterback. You're without your starting tight end. You're without Ricky Pearsall, but he's expected to be back on Sunday. You haven't had Brandon Ayuk. You're missing Nick Bosa. Fred Warner was out of that game. And right now, you have your football team sitting at 4-1. And not only that, they're undefeated in the division. And what do I always tell you? What do I always tell you? In order to win your division, you have to do what in your division? You have to win within.
You have to win within your division.
You have to.
You told me that for many years. And here in San Francisco, halfway through their schedule in the West Division, and they're 3-0.
Yeah, and then on the other side, Tampa Bay. That was all I can say. Like, you talk about never being out of a game. And the other day, I was asked, what do I like about this group? I like their mental fortitude. They're tough. And they take they take what their leaders give them. Baker
Yes.
Mayfield and Todd Bowles have created quite the tandem, and they play hard
They do.
for one another. And Emeka Egbuka, he was my offensive rookie of the year coming into the season, and so far he's looked really good. Tampa, I love their defense. They're physical, and man, that was such a tough win for them last week in Seattle. You know, getting that turnover and just coming away with the victory, because it's tough to get a win in Seattle. It really is, but they came away with it. I see this coming down to the fourth quarter. I like Tampa by 4. I say 31-27, Brian.
It's going to be, and people won't believe me when I say this, but I will continue to say it. When I looked at this matchup, this is going to be a wild offensive show, given how these two teams play. And do not be surprised if it winds up with the same score like it was in Seattle. Dr. K says we have time for one more, so let's give her the one that she's looking for. The Arizona Cardinals and the Indianapolis Colts, 1 p.m. at Lucas Oil Stadium. Yours truly will have the call on Snowman Sportsnet for that. Talk about these resurgent Colts, man.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing. First, they have a healthy Jonathan Taylor, and you know my rule. You better have a game if you got 2 first names. Brian, say it with me. You better have game. Look, he's laughing, y'all.
You better have game if you have 2 first names.
It's only right. And he's healthy. What a difference being healthy is, but it's been the emergence of the quarterback. It's been Daniel Jones' show, because he doesn't have to deal with that New York market now. Like, he's in a way smaller market, and he can just worry about being quarterback. He doesn't have to worry about, am I going to be on the back pages of the NY Daily News, which you don't want to be on.
You don't.
No,
you don't.
Brian, you've been here. I live here. You know how
I've been in that market. I have listened to radio in that market. I know a few people out that way, yourself included. And man, if you get on that back page, it is not good at all.
And you look at Arizona, and they should be ashamed of themselves. And I have no problem with what Jonathan Gannon did with confronting his player, and he was fined $100,000. Look, I would start a GoFundMe to pay that fine, because he did nothing wrong.
Right. I agree.
He did nothing wrong. I just saw a coach reprimanding a young man playing a
Yes.
Look, never did I think I would ever say this in all my years of breaking down the sport. I trust Daniel Jones a little bit more than I do Kyler Murray, and I think the Colts are going to come away with a victory, and they're going to continue to be one of the surprise darlings of the NFL.
And I never thought I'd say this since the days of either Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck, but the Colts come into this game on Sunday averaging 32 points a game.
Wow.
They hung 40 in succession on the Raiders this past Sunday after the Raiders jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and then the Colts just went to work and hung 40 consecutive points. We got that one. We got the 49ers on Sunday, and of course, we got the 2 in the Big Ten. It's a busy week here on Snowman Multimedia and Snowman in the Morning. My buddy Chris Simpson breaking it down as he always does each and every Thursday. My brother, I love you very much. Thanks for coming on, and I can't wait to do it again.
Much love, and I'll be in the booth with you very soon. We got to come up with something for sure. Thank you for having me on, as always.
Thank you very much. I can't wait to be in the booth with you again.
My man.
After the break, the main event, we get Totally Deets. Snowman in the Morning, back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Because we take this job so serious.
It's really, in the end, basically a skill issue.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Let's try that again, boss. I think you were muted when you first came on.
That would explain everything. Jeez Louise, what a morning. How's the moving process going?
Giant pain in my backside, but hanging in there.
Yeah, just like all these technical difficulties we're rolling through here. Thank you to Chris Simpson for joining us this morning to talk some football. And now, without being mooted, I can say, let's welcome the team.
Passionate.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
Totally.
This one has a chance.
Deeds.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
Deets is with us. Morning, Deets.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Where you been the last couple of days? I've been trying to message you and let you know what's going on, and not a white from you. You've been working, haven't you?
Working nights throws everything off. Especially when during the summer it's fine. Yeah. But when you're watching football on Sundays and then roll into Monday overnight, Tuesday overnight, Wednesday overnight. Right. Everything else you're just trying to catch up. Usually Sundays are like my day to be like, all right, I can get my day straight. Now my day is football on Sunday.
Oh, I get it.
By the way, boss, before we get too far, there's one other button you might need to hit because we do have the fourth in the chamber.
I got a couple of buttons I need to hit, including this one. The one in charge of Taika. The queen is in the house.
Yeah.
Yoso, how are you?
Hi.
I see she found the Prosecco I left for her.
Yep.
It's a lovely little one. Did you flavor this one or something? It's got an interesting color.
I was just gonna say it looks like Jen's popping champagne like Morris.
Yeah, I think you had a little bit of an early celebration.
Went down.
Sir, you had a little bit of an early celebration at the weekend. You didn't even let the full weekend go by.
Just a minute. Hey, listen. Before you start,
I celebrated my college picks. That's all I needed to celebrate.
Yeah, but there was still more to come, and I still beat you.
All right.
You said a full week. My weeks go Sunday to Sunday.
Just a minute. You both have a reason to celebrate. Why don't we just do it that way? You both have, and you're both laughing, so that's a wonderful thing to see. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to Florida, and we welcome the man himself, the man in charge of the painting game pick'ems. We call him a Pizzle. Alex Putnam is with us. Good morning, my friend.
Oh man, you mentioned
Dolphins. It is so weird seeing you on a Thursday. Hey, how are you?
You know what? Pizzle messaged me. He said, if you need me Thursday and Friday, I'm ready.
I'm here.
Speaking of ready, let's go to my hometown of Chicago. The Windy City brings us our female, Allison Moran. How are you, my dear?
Hey, doing great. Nice to be on with everybody.
Hey, we got a full house up in here today.
Y'all look so bright and bushy-tailed, man.
Well, Allie, was that not the finish of the year last night?
It absolutely was. Asia Wilson is a god. Asia Wilson is the reason for the Aces winning in probably 4, not 6. So we'll see.
Your original prediction was 6, and Asia Wilson said, "Hold my beer," and I'll double that.
I'll show you. There's one great shot out there. There's one great shot. I saw it on my Facebook feed with Asia Wilson looking like Michael Jordan midair and taking that last shot. It was fabulous. I have never seen a shot like that in the WNBA.
Nor have I. Wilson finished 34 last night. We'll talk all about that during the second hour. And as far as me being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, hold on a minute. This is sweet tea that I made this morning.
Oh,
and according to my wife, I am her sweet tea dealer. That's the joke that's going around her office right now.
I have.
So, of course, what does a good dealer of sweet tea do? He gets on his own supply. What do you think? And this was full about an hour ago.
Well, I mean, I technically joined you on the coffee rush while I was out earlier. I stopped by for a little millionaire's frappe.
Oh.
Shot of coffee.
Speaking of which, a little bit of cold chocolate cream cold brew here through the remainder of the show. Now, people are wondering, why is Allison here before hour 2? Because the dog has a notebook full of games that we're looking at.
Is Allison joining us?
Allie asked, when am I coming on? And Dog asked me in a group chat, do we have time to get all the picks in? I said, screw it. Allie's picking with us.
Hey,
that's so nice of you.
Also, can I just say, Damien, you are absolute wrong for saying that.
What did he say?
He said that Jen is sipping on LeBron's Hennessy, and we all know the troll job we were victimized by on Tuesday.
We will not carry Hennessy and dog fathers. Get that out your brain right now, Damien.
I don't want Hennessy. I tried Hennessy once.
Look,
I was 21 years old. I never went back to it.
The only drink I ever want this color is a blood orange Schlur.
Oh. Which she's having a couple of. Victor says I found another good zero sugar creamer peppermint mocha. I must lay my hands on that because I am addicted to peppermint mocha.
It's good stuff.
Last Christmas holiday, I went to get some coffee and I saw the peppermint mocha and I walked by it. I was trying to be good, and my wife saw me walk by it. She says, "Turn around and go get your peppermint mocha right now." So I went in and I loaded up on a peppermint mocha.
She knows you well.
Yes.
7 years worth. 7 years. That's my weaknesses. Before we get to our college picks, I asked a favor of Dietz to explain why he goes top 16, and we'll get to his top 16 as opposed to top 25 or anything like that. And Dietz, I'll leave that to you. And the reason you gave me was great.
Well, the first reason is because I'll show the proof of evidence. The first reason is because my card only goes up to 16. that's the first reason. The first reason
you need to get you some notebooks, Dietz.
But
smaller handwriting, Dietz.
But the second reason is the most important one.
Mm-hmm.
Because who cares about rankings? Who cares about the top 25 when 12 teams make the playoff?
Right.
And the reason I put it up to 16 is because we all knew from the jump when they said we're going to 12, this is eventually going to be a 16-team playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's why I go to 16, because it's a troll job that I'm doing, because we all know it's going to be 16 by the time we get done with this thing.
And it'll be 16. It'll be 16 within 3 years. I'm calling it right now, because it's like Dietz said in a conversation a month ago. When they expanded to 12, Dietz popped the question right there. When will it expand?
Hang on.
I mean, just look at what they said in the off. Just look at what they said in the off season.
What's up, man?
The playoff was a great success, but changes need to be made.
Right.
Yes.
And they're already talking expansion. They're 1 year into this thing, and we're already talking about it needs to be expanded.
And yet, it was the greatest playoff ever.
Come on.
Right? It was the greatest. Of course, it was the greatest playoff ever, and yet changes need to be made. Expansion needs to be made. It's like the NCAA basketball tournament. I was.
They're going to go beyond. They're going to go beyond 68 eventually.
Within a few years. When it capped at 64, when it went to 64, I should say, in 1985, that was the greatest expansion because that's when we started seeing all of the upsets. Cleveland State 2 years later against Indiana. Anybody at the Carrier Dome? I thought that, you're at 64. Leave it there. No, they decided to make it 68, and then they bring in Dayton, Ohio. And I saw the madness in Dayton, Ohio in person at UD Arena. I walked out of that joint like I had been at the United Center for 3 straight nights watching Michael Jordan play against the Utah Jazz in the finals. It was loud. It was loud. And then one year, I had the pleasure of being at the United Center when they brought the NCAA tournament there, when they brought the regional to Chicago. And a mutual friend of Valley and I's was the PA fellow there. I think you know this name, Gene Honda.
Yeah. Love Gene. Sweetheart of a guy.
He
Absolute sweetheart.
Okay. Let's take a look at some of the games that Dietz said he wants to look at, but there's one I want to focus on. There's two I want to focus on. The first one is at 3:30 in Eugene, Oregon. You have the 7th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers and the 3rd-ranked Oregon Ducks. And a question that I have for the schedule, what does Dietz always say? What are we doing? What are we doing? On the road to Oregon.
And this is after they had just gone on the road to Kinnick, and now the schedule maker said, "You know what? It wasn't hard enough to send you to Iowa. Let's send you to Eugene, Oregon, and go face the team that hasn't lost a Big Ten game yet."
In their
league, they have not lost a Big Ten game.
Yes. And you know what, Victor has the perfect comment. It reads as follows: Ducks versus Hoosiers. What the quack is this game?
What the quack?
Pizzo, I expect you to use that line forever and ever when you do your Wednesday night show, Pain and Game Pick'ems. Because I'm sure going to use it. A pretty lady used it when she was walking out of the door to go to work this morning when she looked at the schedule, and she said, "You're previewing the Indiana game, right?" I said, "Yes." She says, "Who do they play?" "They play Oregon." She steps out this door, looks back at me, and goes, "What the crackers are you talking about?" Baby, they play Oregon. Seriously. And then the next question she asked, "You are covering that game, aren't you?" "Yes, I am." After number 1 Ohio State visits Champaign, Illinois to take on 17th ranked Illinois with Fox Noon Saturday in tow at Memorial Stadium.
It's more important to talk about. I mean, Indiana, Oregon is the game of the week.
Yes.
We all know that, and you'll see that in both the AP poll and my poll. You'll see that it's the game of the week. But what does game of the week mean? Game of the week means this game only affects the 2 teams that are playing in it.
Right.
I mean, you talk about impact game. The impact game is going on at the Texas State Fair.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And why that's more impactful than in Indiana and Oregon? Like I said, it affects Indiana and Oregon. Texas and Oklahoma affects Oklahoma, Texas. It affects everyone who's played Texas and Oklahoma before, i.e. Big Ten, get your ears up, Michigan and Ohio State. It affects the teams that those teams are going to play. Georgia, Alabama, all of those teams are going to be affected by what happens at the state fair. Nobody else plays Indiana and Oregon.
True.
Penn State played Oregon, and we saw what happened.
It took 2 overtimes, but Penn State got knocked out of the top 25, as did Texas.
Well, yeah, it took them 2 overtimes to beat Oregon, and then they never showed up, and then they never made the flight to California.
No, because how can you explain? Well, I can explain it. Dietz has said it. Dog has said it. Pizzle said it. And I'll say it here. When it comes to big games, James Franklin does not show up.
Yes.
He does not show up. And in Franklin's tenure, he's lost 3 times to Illinois.
I don't even think we can say big game anymore. For it's not even a big game problem with James Franklin. It's a Mike Tyson problem.
It is.
It's what everybody's got to play until they get punched in the mouth. And Penn State, every time they get punched in, every time they get knocked down on the mat, they don't get back up.
No, they don't. They never have gotten back up. They got knocked out. They found their way into the playoff last year somehow, some way. And then they go to Miami. They're flying high after they beat up SMU. And then Notre Dame socks them in the mouth in the final 2 minutes. And
it's also in California. It's also, we could also say about James Franklin, it's a California thing.
It is.
Go back to the Saquon Barkley. When Saquon Barkley had Penn State rolling, where did they lose? In the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Who did they lose to? USC.
California.
Go back to last year. They went out to California to play USC, and it took overtime to get them through that game. They had to come back, and not only did it take them overtime, they had to come back late in that game just to get it to overtime, then overcome USC. Then this year they go out and play UCLA and get smacked. So it's a California thing.
The score was not indicative on how well UCLA took it to Penn State. Because
we gave him a lot of guff. We gave him a lot of guff in the offseason, so we have to give him props when he does it. Nico finally played like the Tennessee Nico.
Nico Imaleva led them to that.
Imaleva?
Yeah. Now Imaleva.
I'm not pronouncing that last name.
That's exactly Nico Imaleva. That's exactly it. All right. We're towards the top of the hour. We got the whole crew in tow. We're going to pause for a break. And when we come back, for the first time, officially, Allie picks college games with us. And I might have a surprise for tomorrow. Hour 2, introduce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.